Hey everybody, it's Rob. We're back. We're doing another Hack the Box walkthrough. This time we're doing a machine called Optimum, and it is a Windows machine and it's rated as easy. Now it's one of their retired older machines, but it was easy in the sense that I kind of knew what needed to be done, but the machine really didn't cooperate with me. So um, we'll talk a little bit more about that once we get to the main way that we're going to attack this machine. So without further ado, you can see I'm connected to Hack the Box's VPN, and you can see I have Optimum spun up, and here's the IP address. So we ran an Nmap scan, service version detection T4 aggressive on the IP address, and the only thing that came back was 80. Now, I'm pretty certain, let me just paste the actual IP address in here. Most of you who do this on the regular are going to be familiar with this, but this is Rigetto's HTTP file server. It's got some exploits that certain versions are vulnerable to. So the way that I started down this path was I was going to do manual exploit because obviously, I'm studying for the OSCP and you know how they are with Metasploit. So I actually did find this exploit right here. It's for the Rigetto HTTP file server 2.3 RCE exploit, which is CVE 2014-6287. Now, this is in the Pedro Alves GitHub, and credit to him. This exploit works perfectly. It's super simple, and it worked just fine to get me a user shell. Now, once I got on the machine with a user shell, that's where everything went south. I had all kinds of trouble. The machine just wasn't behaving. I tried to run WinPs, nothing was working. I reset the machine a couple of times. I just had all kinds of issues with it. So ultimately what I decided to do was to abandon the manual way of exploiting this machine and to use the Metasploit framework. Now, there's actually two exploits that you have to do to this machine. The first one is the Rigetto HTTP file server. That's how you get a foothold. But then you need to do another exploit to Privesc. And I never got to that point manually because I couldn't get anything to work. I couldn't get WinPs to run. I couldn't get anything to run, basically. Anything I sent over to the machine would just kind of hang. So I thought this would be good actually for Metasploit because I used the Metasploit exploit suggester as well once I had a Meterpreter session. And that's ultimately how I Privesked. So I will make sure this manual exploit is in the description below in case you want to give it a try yourself. But from here forward, we're going to be in Metasploit, the Metasploit framework. Okay, so I'm going to open up a console and we are going to type MSF console. We are going to start the Metasploit framework and that will take a moment, so just bear with me. And once we get a prompt, we'll get to work. Okay, so as I said, we know the foothold is going to be Rigetto, right? So we can just do a search on Rigetto and see what comes up. And there's two exploits here. Now, obviously, the one from 2024 isn't going to help us because this machine is older, right? So we want one. So we can just reference it using the number. So we're going to say use one. So now we are in the Rigetto HFS exec module, okay? Now, I'll be honest with you, I had a bit of trouble with the staged payload. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to type options so we can see the options. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but this right here is a staged payload. You can see because it's got the Meterpreter separated by a slash, then the reverse TCP. I'm going to actually change this to a stageless payload, and you'll know it's stageless by the way it's kind of structured, the name of it. So let's do that first. So we'll go show payloads. And then we'll scroll up to the interpreter payloads. And right here is where we want to be. So you see how the staged payloads have the interpreter and the reverse whatever separated by a slash. If you want to do a stageless payload, which is basically, it means it's the whole exploit gets sent over at once, you would use this, the one that has an underscore. So the interpreter underscore reverse TCP is all one word, one command. Okay, so we're going to actually copy this. Now the staged payload may work just fine for you, but it did not work for me, so I'm just going to go with what worked. So I'm going to do set payload, and we're going to just paste what we copied. Okay, and that sets the payload to a stageless payload, interpreter underscore reverse underscore TCP. So we're going to type options, and there's a few things we need to fix here. The first thing that we need to fix is the L host, because right now it's using my internal IP address, and I needed to use my VPN IP address. So we're going to do set L host, and my VPN interface is called ton0. I don't know what yours is called, but you could actually reference it here, or you can put your IP address, which is right up here. I usually just put ton0, and it puts the appropriate IP address into the L host. The L host is your machine. Okay, so now we'll type options again. And there's only a few things we need to set here. One of them, like I said, was L host. The R port is running on 80, which is correct. We just got to set the R hosts, and we should be good to go to run this exploit. So we'll do set R hosts, which is the machine we're attacking, which is 10.129.63.159. We're going to hit enter. We're going to type options one last time to make sure everything looks good. So we have our interpreter stageless payload. It's all one payload going over at once. We have our L host set correctly, we have our R host set correctly, and we have our R port, which we didn't have to touch. So we're just going to come over here and type exploit and cross our fingers and hope we get a interpreter session. So this, from what I remember, took a couple of minutes. So just bear with me here real quick, and hopefully it won't take too long. As a matter of fact, I'll pause the video and be back when we have something. Okay, guys, we're back. It took about 2 minutes for this to actually run through, and you can see it sent the stage. We have our interpreter session opened, and we are good to go. So we could do get UID. Oh, it's not typing. Why not? Get UID. And we are Costas on Optimum, so we are not a privileged account. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to background. What we can do first, let's just get the user flag. So we'll type a shell, and then we're right where we need to be. We'll do a dir, and then we'll do type user.txt. So there's the user flag. So now we're going to exit, and when we get to our interpreter session, we're going to background this. Okay. So now if we type sessions, you can see we have that interpreter session backgrounded. Okay. So now we're going to search for suggester. Yeah, it helps if you actually type search correctly. Suggester. All right, so now you can see there's this module called Post Multi Recon Local Exploit Suggester. We are actually going to use this. So we're going to use 0. And now we're in the local exploit suggester module. So we'll type options. And all this requires is the session that we want to run it against. So we know we have our interpreter session is session 1. So we're going to go set session 1. Okay, we're going to type options one more time, and then we're good to go. So we're going to type run. So this is going to take a moment while it runs through all of the exploits and sees which one the machine is potentially vulnerable to. It doesn't take too long, but it will take a minute or so. So you can watch this as it runs through all of its checks. We can see already there's some vulnerabilities that it's identifying, so that's good. It will actually lay out a nice summary for you at the end and tell you exactly what it thinks the machine's vulnerable to. So right over here, you can see all the red ones. It says the target is not exploitable. So we only have a few here. And the one that stuck out to me immediately was this secondary logon handle privesc, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to privesc. The rest of these didn't seem appropriate. Now, you could try to type use 5. It will not work. I don't know why. So what I do is I usually just copy this and then I say use, and then we just paste this in here, paste clipboard. Okay. So now we're in that module. We'll type options. And again, this is going to be pretty simple, is we need to change our lhost. So we're going to do set lhost to ton 0. We're going to type options. And all we need to do is set the session. So we'll set session. And that's going to be 1 again. And then we're going to type options one last time just to make sure. And then we're going to type run exploit. Looks like it's working. Sending the stage is always a good sign. Okay, now we have an interpreter session. We'll type get UID, and we are NT authority system. So we can go shell, and then we can do cd ... cd ... cd administrator, cd desktop, dir, type root.txt, and there's the flag. So you can see it was pretty interesting. I have, I haven't used Metasploit a whole lot because I've been really trying to avoid it. I think I am going to do a series on Metasploit, so you can look forward for that in the future. But there were literally 2 different exploits that we had to use. One was the Rigetto file server, and that got us a user foothold interpreter shell. Then we ran the Metasploit exploit suggester, and it came back with a secondary login vulnerability. It will tell you everything that it thinks the machine is vulnerable to, and then it's up to you to figure out if one of them is suitable for your purposes. Obviously, the only one that would work for us is the only one that was doing a privesc, because we already had a foothold on the machine. We needed to escalate our privileges. So that exploit turned out to be perfect. So hopefully you learned a little something in this video. I know I don't do too many on the Metasploit framework. That's going to change in the near future. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to drop them below. I will include all the links in the description below. I just want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.